Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you through the basics of how to use Vectr. Okay, so before you start this video, make sure that you've logged into Vectr on the website that I showed you how to do in my previous video. If you don't do this, you won't be able to save your work. We're going to learn the basics of how to create a graphic in Vectr, and I'm going to demonstrate to you how to save and download your graphic once you've finished it. Okay, so I'm going to go to the website now. Excellent. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a file. Go to create a file. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a circle. Now you've got several different shapes in Vectr that you can use, and you've also got some extra shapes if you click on the three dots down here that you can drop in. But for this task, for creating a cookie, I'm just going to use the circle tool. So just click it, and then click where you want your circle to appear on the screen. Okay, now I want my circle to be bigger than this, so I'm going to resize it. So if you click on your little handles you've got around here, you can drag it out. So if you want to make it longer vertically, you can click on the little square on the bottom, the top. If you want to make it wider horizontally, you can click on the little squares in the middle. Or if you want to enlarge it all, click on these squares around the side. Now you'll notice here when I drag it, it's not keeping it in there the correct perspective. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold down the shift key as I do this, and you'll notice if you hold the shift key as you're dragging it, it'll keep it perfectly round. Okay, so we're going to get it nice and big. Now green's not a very good colour for a cookie, so the first thing I want to do is to go up to where I've got the background colour up here. I'm going to set the colour to more cookie-like. Will do. And then I want to add an outline. Okay, now in Vectr they call the outline the border, so I'm just going to go to the border, set it to black. Okay, if you want to make it bigger, you can set it size up. Okay, and if I want to at any point get rid of the border, all I need to do is just untick it. Okay, if I want to get rid of the background colour, okay, the fill colour, we can just untick it. Okay, so our cookie looks a little bit boring at the moment, so what I want to do is I want to add in some chocolate chips. Now to do that, I'm going to use the pen tool. So if you get the pen tool, okay, click on the pen, drag it out, and what I'm doing is if you click a point, it'll let you do it, and if you click it to start off with, you'll get very straight, boring edges. If you click a point, so there's my first one, there I've clicked it to get my second one. Now I can, if you before, and I've made a mistake there, so I'm just going to go back. So if I get my pen tool and I click it, but I'm not letting go of the mouse button, so I've still got the mouse button pressed down, and I drag it, so I'm dragging the mouse, what I can actually do is I can create a curve. Okay, so what I'm doing, remember, click the point and don't let go of the mouse and drag it, and you'll get a curve. Okay, so what I've got there is a chocolate chip. Doesn't look like a chocolate chip yet, but it will do, because I'm going to make it brown, and I'm going to just unselect it, just going to make it slightly smaller, and then I'm just going to click on it. So clicking on my shape, I've got the mouse button held down, and you'll see I've got that white four-pronged arrow. That means I can move it. So hold the mouse down, drag it, and drop it onto our cookie. Okay, now I could go and get another one, and I'll just do another quick cookie, sorry, not cookie, chocolate chip shape. Okay, make it brown again. Remember, what I'm doing is just clicking on the arrow and selecting it, dragging it down. And I could keep doing that, so I have lots of uneven cookies, but I'm lazy, so I'm going to do a copy and paste on this. So I'm going to click on one of my chocolate chips, I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go duplicate. Okay, remember when we right click, it's the mouse button that we don't normally press. Okay, I'm just going to spin it, do the same here, right click on it, so right click on the shape, get the menu up, duplicate it, spin it, do the same again, right click on it, duplicate it, let's drag it down here, right click on it, duplicate it, drag it over here, Okay, you might want to have slightly different darker colours for your chocolate chips. Okay, you might want to have, see if we make it a bit more dark. There you go. And you could keep going until your heart is happy. Okay, so there's my chocolate chip cookie. Now, what I want to do now is add some text to our graphic. So I'm going to go to the text tool here, T. Click where you want the text to appear. So I'm going to put it here. I'm going to write yum, yum cookies. I'm just going to click on the text again. I'm just going to drag it over here. Now at the moment it's a bit small. Okay, so I'm going to make it bigger. If that happens and you lose it, just click on the object again, it'll come back up. So I'm going to make it, let's make it 70 pixels. Is that going to be too big or is that perfect? It's a bit big, so let's make it 50 pixels, that's better. Okay. And then what I can do is I can also add, I turn it on, an outline. So we've got, let's have our cookie colours. Let's go for something outrageous. We'll make it purple. And then if we put this on the outside, okay, and then let's make the inside colour of our cookies white so it stands out. Should we make it white? What colour do you think? Yeah, let's make it white so we can see it. I'm going to change that purple colour back to brown because it just looks a bit sick at the moment. Okay, now if you want to choose a colour that you've already picked, if you use this little eyedropper button, you can then click on the colour you want to copy, which is that, and it will change the colour of your text. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this down here. Remember, just click on it and drag. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more text. So get my text tool. And I'm going to write the best cookies in town. Okay, and then I'm just going to click on it so we can get there. And remember, if you can't see the options, just click on the text. I'm going to make it bigger. Okay, so I'm just going to, and you'll see here you've got letter spacing. If I use that, you'll see the letters start to spread out. So I'm just going to spread this text out. It's a little bit, absolutely a little bit too much. So I'm just going to use the letter spacing just to bring it back in again. Okay, and just to finish this off, and this is a little, just to make my text stand out a little bit more, I'm just going to put a background on here. So I'm going to get a square and I'm going to draw it over the top. Okay. Now at the moment I can't see my text, so I need to put this layer at the bottom. Okay. So I'm just going to drag, and I'm just holding down on the layer. These are layers tabs up here, so just go to it, hold down on it, and simply just drag it. Okay, so just drag it, let it go, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my colour. I'm going to set my colour to black. Okay, so we can see the, because we've got the title of our company here, which is Yum Yum Cookies, but then under here I've got the tagline. So if you think of McDonald's, McDonald's is the company name, and then I'm loving it is their tagline. Okay, so I've got a logo here. What I want to do now is just maybe add some effects to it to make the things stand out. So if you click on an object, and I'm going to click on my chocolate chips, and a little tip here, if you want to select more than one chip at once, hold down the shift key as you, hold down the control key. Oh, it's not going to work. Okay, I do apologise. What you'll need to do is click on each one at a time, and then if you go over here to your options, you've got shadow. I'm just going to add a shadow to my shapes. Shadow, 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 shadow. And And what you'll notice is it's added quite a cool little effect to it that makes the image stand back off the page, almost makes it look a little bit 3D. Okay, and you can add shadows to any object that you want. Okay, so now this is my basic logo finished. What I want to do is I just want to save it. So if you want to save it, you go up to here, okay, which is the export button. Okay, and you can then go to download, and what it'll do is it will download your file so you can use it. Now it's downloading it currently in what we call the SVG format, which is a vector format. What you might want to do is you might want to change it to either a PNG or a JPEG. Now what that does is it converts the image into a bitmap. So it'll actually, rather than it being a vector, which is, a vector is basically a computer program, okay? And when you open up a vector, the computer can resize it or make it as small as the computer wants, and you won't lose any quality because you're not actually seeing pixels on the screen. When you save it as either a JPEG or a PNG, it actually converts the vector into a bitmap, so it converts it into a pixel image, okay? Now they're great because you can then send them to people so they can view them on their mobile phones or they can be viewed in websites. But a disadvantage is if you try and resize that image, okay, so if you try and make it bigger, the image will become pixelated. Okay, so depends on what you want to use the image for, would be depending what file type you use. In this case, I'm going to save it as a PNG. I've set the size, how big I want it to be, and then to finish off, I just click download. Okay. Now, it's not giving it a name. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to here. See. File set. Here you go. So to give it a name, go up to here where it says file settings. I'm going to call it cookie logo. Don't save it as untitled because you won't know what the file is. And then I'm going to go back to export. I'm going to go back to download. And this time, it's downloaded using the name. So just remember, make sure that you, when you do it, go to file settings and give your file a name. And then also when you go to download it, go to export, okay, and make sure that you set it to the file type you want. If you want it as a vector, SVG. If you want it as a bitmap, either PNG or JPEG. Now PNG is better because it has what we call transparent properties. Okay, so if you're going to use it as a logo, I would recommend saving it as a PNG. Okay, so once you've downloaded your cookie and you're happy with it, okay, you've now finished this task. See you next time.